Jump in my 6'4" and let the top dine. Trunk hitting hard when I swing through H-time. Cup full of oil and an orange kush sweet. Cause this is how we do it in that 713. My candy red paint cocked up on foe. Shocking and body rocking cause the south side ho. DJ Screw got me falling asleep. This is how we do it in that 713.
Welcome to Sports with Balls. Here are your hosts, Jeff Michael, Lauren Leal, and Grant Miles.
Welcome into Sports with Balls, y'all.
Welcome to Sports with Balls.
That was so aggressive.
That was really aggressive.
Oh, man, it's 2020. We got, we had a Christmas party over at Christmas Tailgate, so we got moved over to one of our favorite places ever, Valor Barbershop. I love this place, man.
Yes, I love it too. But I was about to say, we didn't have a Christmas party.
No.
We didn't get invited to this Christmas
we didn't
party.
get
Let's
invited.
be real. But Christian Tailgate staff, and we always thank them each and every week for having us. But they are doing their annual Christmas party at all locations.
Sure.
So we're up here in the barbershop.
Thanks to Brock helping us out and let us, if you guys are following the show, we film here a lot, and over at Valor Barbershop at 2217 West 34th Street, man, Brock's one of the most amazing human beings that we know on the show. I mean, he gives haircuts to veterans and wounded veterans and PTSD stuff that he does for all the armed forces. So thank you, Brock, and thank you, Valor Salon.
Yeah, and I love this Christmas tree he's got back up here, all frosted, and of course, all the American flags. I wonder, how many American flags he has in this place.
I don't know. I bet he could tell you.
Probably.
I bet if
One,
you ask him, he
two,
could tell you.
three, as we the people on the, it's really cool.
Well,
Cool.
Jeff Michael, Lauren Leal, Grant Miles, and of course Johnny J back over there helping us out. We don't ever get the bah, bah, it's just when we say Johnny. It's like when you say Johnny, you get the boop boop.
Because he thinks highly of himself.
I don't think I've ever heard any of those noises come out of his soundboard, Jeff.
Sorry, I'm not good at the noises.
Boop, boop.
Welcome into Sports with Balls, y'all. Again, Jeff Michael, Lauren Leal, Grant Miles. Man, lots of stuff happened this weekend, especially yesterday in the NFL. We're going to get to that in a little bit. College football went a little crazy. People throwing shoes and stuff. Wild stuff in college football as well. And did y'all know that the college football playoffs are coming up? Like the conference championships?
If that's what you want to call them.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's weird.
I had no idea that Big Ten Conference Championship next weekend. I'm like, what? Ohio State? Haven't they played like 3 games?
Yes. Well, it seems like that.
It seems like it, yeah.
Like we were talking about today, Jeff and I hung out a little bit today. You've got...
thanks for the invite.
Oh, yeah, you
bro.
were invited. Don't worry about it.
Thanks.
We had stuff we needed to do without you around.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
This is
No,
gonna be
I
a
said
fun
that. I
show.
said, you know what, we should have Lauren involved in this. Jeff's like, no, we don't. So I tried.
That's
What
right.
is going on?
I
Is this
tried.
a real thing?
No, we
not what
had
happened.
lunch. It's all good.
I was like, what's going on?
And we had lunch at Claiborne's.
Cleburne.
Cleburne's.
Yeah,
I've never eaten
say
that.
that right.
Man, great food over
Cleburne.
there.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Over in Bel Air.
Cleburne Cafeteria?
Claiborne. It's like
been there?
Luby's on steroids.
It's like Luby's for rich people.
Yeah, for real.
Yes.
That's, I mean, not
Yes.
lying. But the owner came by and brought all kinds of desserts and
Oh,
stuff with
dude.
us. Woo, lemon
just-
meringue. It was awesome. It was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, we had all kinds of good stuff.
Johnny was
Say
there
I'm-
too, Lauren. Ooh.
Yeah, Johnny was there too.
I want to say, I'm so glad I can join in on this conversation. Like,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you guys for paying attention.
We didn't
Johnny,
talk about you too
Kevin,
much. Don't worry about
Matthew. Yeah, we only said a couple of things.
Yeah.
It's all right.
We didn't talk about you too much. Just a little bit. So.
I think that's my
Look at her. I think
exit.
she's really getting upset. It's all good, Lauren.
No. Listen,
all good.
again, we're over here at Valor Barbershop, 2217 West 34th Street. How was your weekend, Lauren? What'd you do?
It was good. I wasn't having any lunches with y'all.
That was
That's
the
for dang
weekend.
sure.
Like, that was.
Here we
that was
go.
great.
Here we go.
No, my weekend was great. I can't even remember what I did. I felt like it was a flash and it was over. But I know yesterday, a lot of Christmas stuff, watched the games. Oh, Saturday, watched college football on the couch. Went to a little party. And then yesterday, work all morning.
We got invited.
Football.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, do you want to
did some
start run down the
Christmas
list
stuff.
of stuff you've done that we haven't been invited
like,
to?
if you follow Lauren's social media
Yes.
pages and stuff, like
Yes.
she's invited to everything every weekend. We are not.
Correct, yes.
Yes.
I mean, you want to start that list? We can do that.
you asked me what I did. I'm just answering.
I know.
Kevin Anthony says, "What's up, Grant?"
What up, Kevin?
Brock is watching. The owner of the barbershop we're at Valor, man.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you, Brock.
Huge fan. But yeah, thank you, Brock. We're 5 minutes into the show, and let's get into some sports, man. Let's get into the Leal deal brought to you by Joe Applewhite. Applewhite Realty, 713-291-5270. Looking for a place to move anywhere in Texas. Joe Applewhite, he is your man. Mention Sports with Balls, and he is literally coming to your house and packing the boxes with you.
That'd be worth it.
I got to see this next one.
I know.
I've got some people to throw at you, Joe. But
Ooh,
anyways, it is
Joe.
time to get into.
You get a referral for that?
I'll talk to Joe about it. Okay. We'll talk. It is time to get into the drill with Leal. That is me. So the Cleveland Indians announced that they are changing their name after 105 years. Due to being considered racist. The organization will make a formal announcement later this week, but told the New York Times that they've been internally discussing a name change for months. Any guesses on what might it be?
Well, as far as what I've read, they're going to stick with sort of like the Washington football team. It might be the Cleveland baseball team for right now. That's just what I've read. I don't know.
Redskins I can understand because that's like specific for like, I guess, a skin color or, that could be. But I don't know how much more generic you can get than Indians.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Like that's literally
I was following.
I don't know. That's generic.
I was following the post on ESPN, and I was looking at the comments on Facebook from people that follow ESPN and their comments, and several people that were from native or where they originated from, like original natives. They were not offended by Cleveland Indians' name,
right.
And very rare did you see somebody on there say, "Oh, this offends me." It's kind of gone overboard. But hey, look, this is 2020. This is the world we live in. The Cleveland Indians want to change their name, then they got to change their name. It is what it is.
Speaking to that point, I remember a while ago, whenever the Redskins were changing their name, I told a story like that too. I met a native Indian, and he was like, "I don't understand why they're changing."
It's very strange.
I don't know.
Well, especially now after all that died down. If you think about whenever all that's happened with Washington, with the football team, it was kind of in the heat of all that.
Yeah, of course. And now it's died down.
And now it's gone down a little
sort
bit.
of bring it back up.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Cleveland, whatever you're going to be called.
Yeah. In that case, you'd have to change, Florida Seminoles, Florida State Seminoles, Texas
Chicago
Rangers,
Blackhawks.
Chicago Blackhawks. We can't keep doing this unless it's like, okay, everybody just changed their names. No more nicknames. These are called nicknames for a reason. It's not the actual name of the team. They're just nicknames. So, it is what it is. Cleveland's going to have to be the Cleveland baseball team or whatever they decide. I hope they don't come up with something like the Houston Texans.
The Cleveland Ohioans or whatever you are.
You know what someone told me when I was at a
The
bar
Cleveland
once?
Ohioans. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was at a bar once, and someone was like, he was, I can't remember where, but he was from another state. We were talking about football, and they're like, "Who's your team?" And I'm like, "Well, I cheer for the Texans. I live in Houston. I grew up on the Cowboys, like just different things." So he was like, "You realize that the Houston Texans, it's literally the name of the city adding an in. It's Houston, Texas, and you're just adding the
It was, man, when they came up, living in this city, when they came up with the name, obviously we lost the Oilers, but when they came up with the name, I just put my hand on my head like, what? And that was the original name of the Dallas football team, the Dallas Texans. That's the original football name of the Dallas Cowboys. So it's very frustrating to be called the Houston Texans, but hey, maybe they can't take that away, or maybe they can. Maybe we're the Houston football team because people are pissed off about being Texans.
I don't know.
Isn't that racist? You call somebody a Texan?
We can figure something out.
Johnny, if I called you a Yankee, like, is that, is that bad?
Yeah. Well, I will say that the country band, the Dixie Chips, they
Dixie Chips, that's right.
Yeah, they dropped Dixie.
All right,
did?
let's move on.
They did? When did that happen? I didn't know that.
Happened earlier this year. Anytime that they come on the radio dial, you see the Chicks.
Well, that's how relevant they are now.
I
never heard about them.
They dropped a new album.
I'll be sure not to listen to it.
Well, if anybody would know, it'd be Lauren.
Yeah. The country
Hey,
gal.
y'all.
The country gal.
Country. That's right. She is country.
Oh, yeah, how was that?
When I walked in, you were like, "You look like you're going to a Luke Bryan concert." I'm like, "Well,
You're going country dancing.
I was.
I wouldn't call Luke Bryan country, but you went country dancing. Though.
Yeah. He's good,
Sophia, Leslie, Brian, Josh, appreciate you guys watching, man. Enjoy the show. We're about to get into it.
All right, we're going to move on to our next drill, and I know Jeff is pumped up about this, as he always is on this. Anthony Joshua. So, unified heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua. He's 31, from England, retained his IBF, WBA, and WBO heavyweight titles by stopping the Bulgarian challenger. You want to pronounce his name?
No, go ahead. I want to see this.
Kubrat Pulov.
There you go.
On Saturday night at the SSE Arena, Wembley in London, England. The fight was stopped at 2:58 in round 9.
Yeah, I mean, look, Anthony Joshua, this is a setup. I don't want to say a setup fight because that guy was a little older. He was a good challenger for Anthony Johnson. But Anthony Joshua, everybody's looking forward to the Tyson Fury fight. And that's what this is basically set up to be. There hasn't been a unified heavyweight champion in a very long time. And Tyson Fury holds a couple belts. Anthony Joshua holds a couple belts. So they're going to set up the fight. That will be one worth watching without a YouTube star.
Is that worth watching?
I would think so. I mean,
Okay.
when you're looking at his record, I mean, he's 23-1, 23 wins, 1 loss. He's been pro for 7 years now. I mean, he's kind of at that point where 31, where he's getting a shot now. He's earned it to the point where he's ready to get a unified belt. Like Jeff said, that would be awesome to have somebody like that. You got a unified belt because, man, I don't know how long it's been, but I'm sure it's been a while.
Long time. We'll ask Lou Savarese. Thanks for coming on the show last week. If y'all haven't caught that, look back on it.
Please
Yes,
go.
go listen to that episode. It's on every podcast form you got, man. Really, it's on every one of them. iHeart, Talk to Alexa, or Echo. It's on there. It's on every one of them. So go listen to that episode. It's flat out amazing.
We always are. Every episode's on any of those as well.
Yes.
So we'll move on to the next one that is over the weekend, LSU versus Florida. Now, LSU took it by a 57-yard field goal, 37-34. It was up to the last, how many seconds was that?
Well,
was
the
left in
funny,
the game?
I mean, obviously
the funny part, which
this
you want
game-
to talk about.
Well, this game was marred by an idiot Florida player. They had stopped LSU, and the guy's shoe had fell off, and he grabs it and he chunked it about 20 yards down the field. Obviously, flags. They continue the drive. LSU kicks what was an unmakeable 57-yard field goal. That was a dinger. It was foggy. It was
I'd
an
say the weather
unbelievable-
was terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you can blame it on the shoe throw, and obviously the guy made the field goal. But Florida actually had a chance to come back and make their own field goal, missed it.
Right.
Well, the
Right,
question
right.
would be, up to that point, Trask was a heavy favorite as far as the Heisman Trophy goes. Now,
Yeah.
they didn't lose because of anything he did or didn't do. I mean, he was 29-47, 474 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he had a great game, but it helps to know that. I think it helps your Heisman rating and your opportunity when your team is going into a college football playoff. Now they're out.
Well,
I
they
mean,
were
they're not gonna
ranked.
be
Yeah, they
into
were
it.
ranked
I
number
know.
6.
Yes.
Florida was ranked number 6 in the nation. Now, look, we can argue all day long whether or not college football is going to have a legitimate champion this year. The top 4 are obviously way beyond anybody else as far as
I would even say number 1 is
talent-wise.
beyond number 2.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty. I mentioned this a few episodes ago with college football. It's kind of the validity there is just obnoxious. Like
Yes.
it's so bad. Like the top 4 teams are just they're so good. And the problem was Florida would have a valid argument if they would have beaten LSU handedly, but they actually lost. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean now Florida, no more arguments from Florida fans.
Right.
All right, we'll move on to another college game, and that was North Carolina versus Miami. Ooh, man, North Carolina put it on them, 62-26 by the Tar Heels. Miami went into this game 8-1. They were ranked 10 by College Football Playoff Committee, and then Miami's defense just looked completely embarrassing. They gave up 778 yards, the
Wow.
worst in program history.
This game, if you wanted to watch some offense, this game was unbelievable. Way to go, Mac Brown, UT boy. First time in NCAA history, you had a 300-yard rusher and a 200-yard rusher on the same team in one game. Wow. Grant, do you have stats to bring up for this?
Well, yeah. So the other thing that was amazing about it, so like you said, Carter had 308, Williams had 236. You also had a wide receiver that had 167 had 167 receiving yards. So that's crazy. The thing I saw that was amazing, North Carolina held the ball for 40 minutes. Miami had it for 19.
Wow.
Like you talk
Wow,
about
just keeping them off the
dominance
field.
as far as football. Well, of course, when you're running the football and you're running as many yards as they did, you're going to possess the ball for a lot longer.
Well, and Miami prides themselves on defense too with their turnover chain,
Yes.
and all that. So
They're the ones that started all that gimmick as far as all that shit goes.
They can no longer say anything. They got routed. I mean, routed by every aspect of the game. A 300 and 200-yard rusher in the same game is just that's unbelievable.
Well, and the question there is, if you're Diaz, who was the head coach of Miami, do you even watch the film on that? Do you just go, you know what, guys, let's just forget this. Let's don't worry about it. This game's over with. Because that's, like you said, and especially Diaz, he's a defensive coordinator. So he hangs his hat on the performance of the defense.
Not on that one. Mac Brown got the best.
But I will say, I like Miami being good. College football, for me, when you have those blue blood programs, Michigan, Ohio State, Miami, Texas, USC, you have these programs like that. College football is fun when that happens.
Sure. Remember the convicts versus, there's a 30 for 30 on ESPN.
Yeah.
Convicts versus the same, like Notre Dame versus Catholics and convicts. Yes. The Notre Dame versus University of Miami back then when they had. Dude, they had
when they came off the plane in camouflage.
Yeah,
that
unbelievable.
Was great.
Go watch that 30 for 30 if y'all haven't seen it. Convicts versus Catholics. It was awesome.
Oh, there's going to be a new 30 for 30 out soon too. Speaking of that,
what is it?
Be on the lookout.
What is it?
It's just a little teaser right there.
Lauren Leal show.
No. But
you're not even give us an idea.
Thomas, I see you watching. We'll get into your Chicago Bears here in a little bit.
All right, and I think it is time that wraps up the Drill with Lauren Leal, brought to you by Joe Applewhite. We're going to move on over to the Sunday games and tonight's game because it's Monday Night Football, baby. But before we get there, it is brought to you by Construction Concepts.
What about your guy?
Yeah, what happened to Roy? You're just going to leave him out?
Roy's not going to do it either? I mean, I'll do it. I'll thank Construction Concepts. I mean, we want to thank them. Absolutely. But I thought
did
maybe
Roy not make his payment?
Yeah.
To clarify,
yeah.
Jeff sends out the rundown, right?
I think
and then
I put
we
Roy.
give
It
all
says
of our
Roy.
notes. And I have NFL Construction Concepts.
It says, look, right here in the notes, Roy Construction Concepts. Like, I got both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, all I saw was Construction Concepts.
It's okay, but I'll do it. I'll do it. Don't worry about it.
We
do want to thank Construction Concepts. I'll do it. I'm fine with that. I'm good. See, I'm prepared.
Go.
Construction Concepts is changing corporate culture one design at a time. From hospitality, corporate, luxury retail, and medical facilities, their team of experts can update or create a space that exceeds your expectations. Give them a call at 713-589-2682. That's buildithouston.com.
I think Mark's watching. I don't know if he is.
All right, and of course, we got to thank Roy Stanton and Hybrid Technologies Group. When it comes to reliability, they're the ones you need, whether it's phone services, cable services, cloud services, surveillance cameras, you name it, they got it for you. Call them at 832-336-1201. That's Hybrid Technologies Groups. Speak with Roy Stanton, mention Sports with Balls, get a percentage off of what you purchase.
Yes, thank you, Construction Concepts.
Hey, I have a
and
question.
Roy.
What's up?
Did y'all ever eat dinner at a TV tray? Did you ever do that?
Yeah, of course.
Did you ever do a TV tray?
I feel like that's what you're
That's
on
what I
right
feel
now.
like I'm doing. I feel like I'm eating at a TV tray.
I still have a TV tray at my house that it's a newer one, like a new version of it. But yeah, I have one. I sit down in my little recliner and I got my TV tray.
I had a TV tray, absolutely. Dukes of Hazzard.
If you didn't have a TV tray over at Grandma's house, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know the old brass ones, like click.
Yes,
you know?
yes,
Those
absolutely.
those things were
I'm guessing you
awesome.
never did a TV tray. Because you never did one,
A coffee table.
but not a TV tray.
I know what you're talking about, but
Johnny, did you do a TV tray? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay, see. I think that may be an age
Johnny's
thing.
Filipino.
yeah, I think it is.
That may be an age thing.
That's all Johnny had was TV trays.
Whoa! Shots fired.
Oh man, kidding. Thomas, we are going to get into the Bears beating the Houston Texans here in a minute. Let's go over tonight's game real quick. Cleveland, Baltimore. What we got, Lauren?
All right, so Baltimore 7-5, Cleveland Browns with 2 more wins on them, but the Ravens are favored, and it is at home in Cleveland. But we look at whenever they matched up in Week 1, where the Ravens completely dominated the Browns 38-6. Lamar Jackson was 20 of 25 passes completed for 275 yards, 3 touchdowns. But I think this is a different Browns team that the Ravens are facing tonight. What do we look for? We know the run defense, it has to be strong going up against Nick Chubb in the run game against the Browns. What do we watch for tonight in this game?
I mean, look, like me and Grant gone over this a bunch of times. The Browns can run the ball effectively, they're going to win. If they can keep Baker Mayfield under 40 passing attempts and they can run Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt like they usually do, this should be interesting. But what Baltimore team are you going to get? The Baltimore has shown that, like last week, they looked like they played well. Lamar Jackson ran for a 35-yard touchdown. They started getting in their mix. We'll see. I mean, this is an old school rivalry, right? You had the Browns that moved over to Baltimore, right? You had Cleveland that moved over to Baltimore, and then Baltimore went back to Cleveland. I mean, these two teams basically are each other. They come from the same city. So it's a fun game always to watch. Monday Night Football should be very interesting. What was the spread on this, Grant?
It's Baltimore -3.
Ooh, man.
I tell you what, I'm tempted to do Cleveland plus the 3, just strictly because.
We should ask Johnny. He hit a 14 parlay this week.
Well, and what about Lauren here? She was happy
about her one pick.
Her one pick that she did.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because I was like, okay, guys, if I'm gonna say I'm gonna go in on it, and I got the win.
Well, so you've got, but it's gonna be fun because you've got Baltimore, the first ranked team in the NFL in rushing yards per game. You got Cleveland at second, believe it or not. You would think Cleveland's ahead of Baltimore, but they're not. Baltimore's number 1 just because they're a quarterback. But as far as the defensive side goes, Cleveland is top 8. Cleveland is 8th against the run, and Baltimore's 13th. So it would make you to believe Cleveland's going to do a better job of stopping the run than Baltimore will. So
I'm going to go with Cleveland. They've been playing well, and this is a statement game, I think, for Cleveland.
Yeah.
If they win this game.
Last week was a statement game, too, against Tennessee.
But this one could put them in the playoffs. They win this, then they look – you could move them into the top 6 or 7 teams that could compete for a Super Bowl if they win tonight's game.
Well, Cleveland, unless they just completely fall off, is out of it. This game is a lot more important to Baltimore than it is to Cleveland, just because Cleveland's 9-3 and Baltimore's right now out of the playoffs at 7-5. So they really, really need this game if they have any idea. Oh,
this is gonna be a fun game.
Which is why the Cowboys need to shut up about being upset about being flagged. Oh no, it was Sunday night game. My bad, not Monday night game. Did I say that? It was flexed, right? Cowboys, which one were they on?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I'm about to say, you want to go there right now?
I was going to say,
get into the Cowboys?
were the Cowboys
Grant's about to bash the Cowboys already? Damn, they won,
Well,
bro.
because,
They
I know, but, I mean, we can talk.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into that
I
in a
need
minute.
Kareem Hunt to have 12 points, and then I knock somebody out for the final position in fantasy football. So come on, Kareem Hunt, get you 12, boy.
All right.
We know Lauren ain't making it.
No.
She ain't.
Nah. So
She gave up week 4.
Yeah, something.
gave up week 4, week 2. I don't know.
Hey, but your draft, you were A+.
Yeah,
There you
A+
go.
on the
See,
draft.
exactly.
A+ draft card. That's all that matters.
That's all. I got to stick to that. So we'll go to the crazy upset. The Eagles versus the Saints. 24-21. Eagles took it. Jalen Hurts, is he knocking out Carson Wentz out of his place? Carson Wentz, rather. And coach said that he will be starting this coming week. So Hurts was 167 yards passing with 1 touchdown. If Saints would have won yesterday, then they would have been crowned NFC South champions. Or if the Bucs lost, which that didn't happen. But we'll get into that game in a little bit. Did Hurts win the game for the Eagles, though, or did the defense?
No, Hurts did good. The defense stepped up. I had mentioned this on Friday when we had our show. That there's no film on Jalen Hurts.
Right.
And so that's exactly what happened. There's no film, and they used him perfectly. It's almost like when the Saints went to Taysom Hill. There's no film on Taysom. Look, it's not like he threw for 350 yards with 4 touchdowns. No, he used his legs. He moved the ball, let the defense, do their things. And listen, oh, there it is. Sorry, that was only the first time.
We're listening. We got our headphones on. We got our headphones on, Jeff. We're listening.
So, man, damn you, Grant.
Yeah.
Does film matter?
So, yeah, of
Basically.
course film matters. And Jalen Hurts gave this whole team a boost, all right? So that's why I said on Friday I'm taking Philly to maybe outright win this game because they did. He gave them the defensive boost, gave the offensive boost. Look at Sanders. Miles Sanders went off,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody went off because they've got somebody now that they can trust and not throwing interceptions. Not that they hate Carson Wentz, but, Jalen Hurts gave them a nice boost, and that's what they needed.
I wonder if the guys, kind of to a little bit to what Jeff's point is, but he didn't really go that deep into it. I wonder if the guys would rather play for Hurts than Wentz. I mean, that's just when I've watched the Eagles play, I think sometimes Wentz looks like he's out there playing all by himself. I just feel like it looks like nobody has his back out there. And Hurts, that looked like a team effort from everybody. Defense, offense, running back, wide receiver, everybody.
I was going to say the offense definitely elevated his play of game, and then the defense all put up some stops too, and that's why I say, was it really Hurts?
Well,
That
yeah,
won
but
it for
if
him?
you watch the game, because they do have a depleted offensive line, they did it on purpose. They ran Jalen Hurts out of the pocket a bunch, and he can do that. He's mobile like that. Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz, damn it. Carson Wentz is mobile, but he's not as mobile as Jalen Hurts. So play action works a lot better. They can run him around to the, past the ends way easier than Carson Wentz, and obviously that helped. Now, 2-3 games down the road, are they going to have more film on Jalen Hurts? Probably, and it won't win. It won't end up exactly like this one did. Hence, the way that you have film on Taysom Hill now, and we kind of saw what happened with New Orleans.
Yeah.
Now you see all this film, and you see how me and Grant were talking about how defensive coordinators, once they have film on somebody, they can study them. Look what happened. Taysom Hill came back down to earth and looked terrible.
Yeah.
And the Eagles made him look retarded.
Yeah, first half.
Ridiculous.
I'm about to say, don't
yeah.
use that word.
Yeah, my daughter got on me for that. But to your point, okay, so I answer your point, Greg. I think it was more Hurts than it was the defense, just because in the second half, New Orleans did start to come back. I mean, the game got a lot closer, and Sean Payton is a hell of a head coach. I'm sure they went in at halftime, said, okay, let's make some adjustments, let's make some changes. Taysom Hill sent it up with almost 300 yards. He had 291 passing, so he had a decent game.
They were playing from behind, though. Those are
Well,
like the
that's-
Dak Prescott junk yards.
Yeah, there you go. Dak hadn't played in about a long time, but we got to bring him up.
Here on here on Facebook, Thomas said TV trays with the TV dinners going.
That's
back
right.
to
Oh,
that.
absolutely. That was the day.
You can
back,
definitely
back,
relate
back
to
then.
you.
That's why I got gout, TV dinners.
Not just the TV dinners.
Yeah, I
right?
know.
Yeah, but you had Hurts with 167 passing, 106 rushing. He was the difference in the ball game. And you know what? One of the things I saw when I saw Hurts was he was decisive. Like, he made a decision. Sometimes Wentz sits back there and he looks like he doesn't know what to do. And when stuff wasn't working, Hurts ran.
I
And
got a
that's
question
what the
for y'all.
difference
What
was.
happened to Alvin Kamara? The first few weeks of the season, this guy was, he was the MVP talk first 3-4 weeks of the season. I realized that Breeze got hurt, but you don't move away from your running game and throwing the screen passes. Kamara did pretty good this last game. He did get a touchdown, but he's not that standout he was. I mean, man, he was getting 150 to 200, total yards like the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah.
And Kamara, they've just gone completely away from him.
94 yards total, 50 rushing, 44
That's
passing,
crazy.
receiving. I think with Taysom Hill, Taysom Hill kind of takes some of that away, some of that ability to run, and because normally that's Breeze's checkoff, or
Exactly.
that's his. They hand the
but
ball.
they have designed plays for Kamara,
Yeah.
and I just the swing routes out of the backfield. Kamara usually has at least a touchdown a game, if not a half a touchdown. Averages a half a touchdown a game,
Yeah.
something like that. And he had one this past week.
say
but,
he had a touchdown.
Yeah, but that's the first one he's had in a while, and they've just kind of gone away from Alvin Kamara, and he is there. Even Drew Brees will tell you he runs the team. Like, you got to go through Alvin Kamara in order for them to be successful. But we'll see what happens to New Orleans in the coming weeks. Green Bay won, right?
Yes.
So they just took over the first place, and that there's only 2 buys that are given out this year, right? So that first place
Just
is
one bye.
huge.
Just one bye.
I mean one per division.
Yes.
So that's a huge thing to be number one.
Yeah, right now you have Green Bay. Like you said, Saints were number 1. With that loss, now Green Bay's number 1, and that means Green Bay would have a first-round bye, and all the other teams would have to play.
Yeah,
So,
and that's a big thing this year.
yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the next game in Texans versus the Bears. Mitchell Trubisky, 3 touchdown passes in the second quarter.
This is what Thomas has been
versus
waiting on.
the Texans. And I'm just like, man, okay, this Bear team, they snapped their 6-game losing streak versus the Texans. Like, what Texans, what? Deshaun Watson, you were outplayed by your draft mate, and it seems like Deshaun Watson was the obvious choice between these two. So glad the Houston Texans got him. And then what happens yesterday? They lay an egg.
So if I told you when this game, before the game even started, if I said one quarterback would have 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, 100 no interceptions, 126 rating, you'd probably guess that's Deshaun
That's
Watson.
Deshaun.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, that was Mitch Trubisky.
I picked up Trubisky in my fantasy football league. He's actually been playing really good since he came back. He had a bad game last week, but the week before that, I think he threw 3 touchdown passes. The receiving core has actually stepped up. Allen Robinson's back, and they are playing good. If they can run the ball, Chicago's actually not that bad, and they could run the ball against the Texans.
Montgomery had 113.
Yeah, I mean that shows you, and whenever you can do that, obviously it opens up your play action, opens up your passing. But Trubisky looked good against a depleted Texans. Like, don't look too much into this game, Thomas. Like, it's still the Houston Texans.
Is Thomas a Texans fan?
No, massive Chicago
Big
fan.
time. He said
big time. Okay,
Chicago.
all right.
He said he wasn't expecting. What did he say on Facebook exactly? Bears winning their first ever against Texans was not exactly how I imagined it, but I will take both.
And you can't put too much on Deshaun Watson here. Guy was sacked 6 times. I mean, how much help is Deshaun Watson getting? And I'm telling you what, Texans fans, it's going to happen, and you're going to be extremely frustrated, and so will Deshaun Watson. You are going to ruin the prime of his career, just the beginning of the prime of his career, because I'm telling you, unless some drastic things happen, he's not getting any help next year, and he may not get
Fuller
any help.
Will be back,
I'm talking about as a total team. I'm talking about total team, offensive line, defense,
Well, look,
everything.
they're going to have to hire a new head coach. They're going to have to hire a new GM, which they've already put together a team to try to advisory team to do that. So we'll see who they hire, who they bring in to help Deshaun Watson. He's obviously top 5, top 7 quarterback in the NFL stat wise.
Most definitely.
So bring in the right, because it's all about your system. You can be amazing, but if you don't have the right system, it's not going to work.
I mean, we're seeing that in rookie quarterback right now with the Chargers.
Yeah,
we're seeing that in Herbert and how good you can be. But
these young guys are killing it.
You got to have the talent around
Bring
you.
in Eric Bieniemy.
Well, and to that point, imagine if you had it flipped. Imagine if you had Deshaun Watson playing for the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes with the Houston Texans.
Yep.
You'd have Deshaun Watson being $400 million quarterback.
I had an argument with this guy the other day. Who has a stronger arm?
Ooh, well,
Mahomes,
I don't know.
Mahomes or Watson? Is that your question?
Yeah.
It's stronger arm.
It's right
It's
there
hard to
because
say, but
athletic wise, Watson's more athletic than Mahomes is, but stronger.
See that 30-yard
lost
sack that he had. Did
The
you see
thing is-
that?
crazy, yeah.
The difference here is like exactly what we just said with being able to throw the ball and have guys open. Watson doesn't have that. He doesn't even have the protection to do it. Mahomes, we've been able to see it
runs
over
around
and over again.
Mahomes can run around in the
if it's
pocket.
a hurry-up offense or if it's getting outside and extending.
He was even better. Like,
down
you
the
can see
field.
when Fuller opens up. Fuller got suspended obviously for PEDs, but like even when Fuller was on there, you could see him open up the field like Tyreek Hill does for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
It opens up so much when you have a guy that can just sprint down the field, and you got to watch him. You got to have somebody, behind him at all times. So that opens up a ton. But we'll see next year.
Coaching matters.
Obviously, yes, and obviously the Texans are out of everything, and so it doesn't matter.
Coaching matters and identity matters, and I'm gonna move on over to.
What's up, Lucas?
I'm gonna move on over to the Chiefs versus the Dolphins, where Kansas City slid away with it 33-27, and they clinched the AFC West. And just like you mentioned, Tyreek Hill with a 44-yard connection from Mahomes for a touchdown. Mahomes got his 3rd pick of the year, though. It's crazy to say that.
2 in the first quarter.
So, but this is what's crazy about the Chiefs. So they're 19th in the league in red zone efficiency. We've seen them play from behind, like we did yesterday. Why is it that the Chiefs play with a chip on their shoulder only whenever they're just,
I said this.
letting things-
I said this shows and shows and shows ago, where they just get they're just super comfortable. They can do it at any point in time. They can turn it on whenever they want, and that's what makes them kind of the lackadaisical at times. They just don't. I mean, they have so many Hall of Famers that they really put their head down and want to. They've already won the Super Bowl. They've already done everything. They've proven that they've got the MVP of the league. They've broken all the records. So to them, it's almost kind of boring until they get to the playoffs. They lost versus Oakland in week 2 or week 3, whenever it was, and since then they just sort of been. They can beat all these teams on the regular. They just kind of. It's weird. If they play like that in the playoffs, a sneaky team like Cleveland. Or somebody like that will knock them off. Like, they're going to get down. They're going to, the Bills played great. I mean, they're going to get down late in the game, and they might not be able, one play will turn it to where, Mahomes can't come back.
Well, yes, and they have. What do you do when you have Superman on your team? Like
Travis Kelce?
You don't ever
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. You don't ever.
Both of them.
You're not
Jeez.
ever in a panic situation, and so I think when they go into a game, it's. We got this game, and they get behind. I'm like, okay.
They don't even care.
Whatever,
They were
and
down
then,
24-0 versus the Texans.
Correct.
What happened?
Yes, and
48 to
the
3
other
after
to
that.
the other point of Kansas City, there was a team. There was a team this weekend that had 4 turnovers, which was the most of any team all weekend. Guess who that team was? Kansas City Chiefs. And they end up winning the football game.
Mahomes had 2 interceptions the entire year. He had 2 in the first quarter of that game, right?
Yes.
And so they just don't worry about it because they have so many weapons. It's almost like they're playing flag football out there. He can always just go in the huddle and be like, Tyreek, just take off. and then see you later, touchdown.
Miami had more first downs. They had the ball longer. They had every reason in the world to win that game. They had more takeaways. They had all it, and they ended up losing the game.
I got to give Tua a little bit of credit. He did pass for 300 on this game,
Right.
and so I think that was his first 300-yard game. Going against the Super Bowl champs, good for Tua.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did have a good game. It was fun to see him out there in general. And now we will move on over to, we mentioned coaching and identity. And if you saw the post-game press conference, we'll get into it in a minute. The Vikings versus the Bucks. So Tom Brady and the Bucks snapped their 2-game skid. But what's the identity for the Bucks? Bruce Arians says this was it. Now that they are 8-5, they're number 6 in the NFC. But the game you watched yesterday, putting up 20 points, that's your identity?
No, like the Tampa Bay looks terrible.
So why is Bruce Arians happy about this?
I told you from day one, it's just they just put together a bunch of names, right? Mike Evans had 1,000 yards receiving with Jameis Winston. I forgot the 2 other quarterbacks prior to that, but they were exactly the reason. I forgot who they are. Yeah. He had 3,000 yards. He doesn't even have 1,000 yards this year. Right. Tom Brady, with the ball in the air over 20 yards, is last in the NFL in efficiency.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is not that good. They really aren't, and I think it's starting to show. They let Tom Brady call all the plays for Tampa Bay. Bruce Arians, he put together there's like 6 or 7 offensive coaches, and yet Tom Brady's still calling the plays, and you're seeing what's going on. Like they can't spread the ball around.
That's why Tom Brady is in Tampa Bay, because that's the team and that's the organization that was going to.
Tampa Bay, I like that.
That was the organization.
She doesn't call it. I've noticed you don't call him Tampa Bay. You call him Tampa Bay all the time.
Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Not all the time, but a couple.
No, you
of
do all the
times.
time. You do a lot.
No, but that's why he chose that organization, because he knew he was going to be able to get away with calling whatever he wanted to. He was always under Bill, which obviously they made a great team.
Yeah.
But he gets to have his way, and that's why he is in Tampa Bay. But why does Bruce Arians say, this is our identity? What do you watch when you say, oh, he's happy with that?
I don't think Bruce is happy with it at all. I don't think he wants to come out and say it, but I think he's tired of it. I mean, he's like, why? It's kind of like the guy that has the really talented AAU squad in basketball, and that the coach that sits over there on the sideline stands up and says stuff. Like, that's what Bruce Arians does now. I bet he doesn't really do much. He just it's like, okay, Tom, go do your thing. But there were 10 missed points yesterday by their field goal kicker, Dan Bailey. Missed extra points and field goals, and that's a huge hit because
Minnesota could have won that.
Minnesota had more rushing yards, more passing yards. I mean, they were by far the better team, and they ended up losing the game.
Yep.
They had 4 missed field goals.
Yes.
Yep.
He missed extra points and field
You know how
goals.
many
There
people,
were 10 points he didn't
because
have.
it's fantasy football, like playoff time. You know how many people lost their fantasy football chance to go to the playoffs, or some people started their fantasy football playoffs this past week, and some people start this week. You know how many people lost their games or their chance to get in the playoffs because of Dan Bailey?
A lot.
Like,
well, I had Dan Bailey, and I
lot.
cut him. I cut him like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Did you make the playoffs?
I don't have any idea. I gave up about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Great. See, Johnny did. Johnny
did. He's over there doing his happy dance.
I did. I know I did.
But yeah, you had Minnesota with the ball 39 minutes and Tampa Bay with the ball 20 minutes. I mean,
look, Tampa Bay's not that good. It's sort of the Tom Brady syndrome. He's not with Bill Belichick anymore. If he was, you wouldn't worry about it. We said they'd be 10-6, and that's kind of like where they're heading.
8-5 right now. Yeah.
I mean, I just that they might go 2-1 to finish the season. They're going to screech into the playoffs, and then obviously the playoffs, a whole nother season starts. You know, you hope that everybody steps up their game, but the way they look right now, man, they barely getting beat by a Vikings team that's scratching to make the playoffs.
Right, 26-14 is what they took it over the Vikings. Now we'll head on over to Pittsburgh versus Buffalo, which, the Bills are hot. When they're hot, they're hot. 26-15, Steelers lost their second game in a row. Defense gives up in the second half, basically, when Buffalo did go off. But it was Pittsburgh's, they scored less than 20 points in the last 3 games. Should this loss be on Ben Roethlisberger, who went 21 of 37 for 187, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions? Do you put the blame on him?
Let me do this. It's like some people do sometimes. I'm going to defer my points to Jeff because This is right in his wheelhouse.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to defer, Jeff. You take over.
All right, Ben Roethlisberger. Like, no, you don't put it on Ben. He's asked to throw the ball 50
Wait,
times.
why is this in his wheelhouse?
Because he's been on the Pittsburgh.
I told
he's
y'all
been
exactly
on the
what
Pittsburgh
happened.
Mountain. So that's why I
told
said
y'all.
I'm gonna let Jeff take this over
I told
because
y'all it
this
was
is
going to
his
happen.
deal.
They are not that good.
Whenever they were perfect, you're like, oh, they can lose the next 4.
Yeah, and now I said they'd lose at least 2 of the next 4. Now they've lost 2 in a row. They might win the next one. I think they're playing. Let me see who they're
Bengals.
playing. They're playing the
Bengals.
Bengals next.
Yeah.
But then they've got Cleveland and then Indianapolis. So
Tough last 2.
they're not that good, and the reason being is they cannot run the ball. They cannot find their running game at all. Any team that throws the ball 40, 50 times a game, we said this back when Cleveland was starting to do it, you're not going to win. You have to be able to run the football because that keeps your defense off the field. These guys keep turning the ball over. Roethlisberger, he cannot throw the ball that much. Like, he just can't. And they've had the easiest schedule by far in the NFL, and now they're starting to play teams. Like, I'm not taking anything away from the Buffalo Bills. They did amazing. Like, they look like they could upset some people in the playoffs. Like, I would be worried if I'm playing the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Josh Allen looks absolutely phenomenal. So we'll see what happens. But Pittsburgh, I don't see them getting out of the first round. I don't.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Going to the deferring to the Bills, they've won 3 out of their last 4 games. Do we see them having a shot in January? Do we see who is their biggest threat moving forward right now?
Buffalo actually, I mean, they have a legit shot. I mean, they've got a really good quarterback. I've heard some people today. I was watching NFL Network this morning. Some people talking about putting him, as far as the best quarterback under 30 in the NFL, or one of the best quarterbacks under 30 in the NFL. I'm not ready to go there. Josh Allen needs to prove himself.
prove it.
He's got to prove himself over the next several weeks, going into the Super Bowl, going into the playoffs. But I mean, Buffalo's really good. Josh Allen is really talented. I do think Pittsburgh needs to worry because I think they kind of had it going smooth going into this week. And like Jeff said, if they play Cleveland again, Cleveland wins and beats Baltimore, they have the Colts to play. I mean, it could come down to a situation where Pittsburgh may be on the outside looking in.
Yep.
And they need to be careful. But I think the Bills have a legit shot. Absolutely.
Pittsburgh lost to every good team they've played.
Yes.
Like, legitimately have lost, and not only that, they've been beat pretty bad. And you have to establish your run. James Conner yesterday had 16 yards? I think 16 yards rushing by their main running back, James Conner. I don't know if he got hurt or not, but if you can't establish a run, you're asking Ben Roethlisberger to throw balls 50-plus balls to people that are dropping passes. They've had some unbelievable, like 10 drop passes in the past 2 weeks. You're not going to win football games. I mean, that's all there is to it.
When you throw the ball 37 times, like Roethlisberger did, and you had 187 yards, that's not good.
Dude.
That's
That's not good.
That's just
it's not good at
He's
all.
last in the
chunk
NFL.
and junk.
And passer.
I like that. Chunk and junk.
It's chunk and
He's
junk.
last
you know?
in the NFL in yards per attempt.
65.9 quarterback rating
Woo!
yesterday.
Yeah, you're going to lose.
Oh,
That's not
yeah.
good.
Now, a team that y'all keep bringing up within each matchup moving forward and who's going to be really tough to beat, the Colts versus the Raiders this weekend. The Colts took it, of course, 44-27. They are now 9-4, while the Raiders are 7-6. Now, Las Vegas has lost 3 out of the last 4 games, number 9 seed in the I don't know where I went with that one. How did you guys feel with the Colts versus the Raiders? It's been a crazy day.
Raiders are falling apart.
It's been a Monday.
They just fired their defensive coordinator.
Right.
The Raiders, man, John Gruden had them playing very, very good football. And for some reason or another, the last 3 weeks, they have fallen apart. And Josh Jacobs, I understand, like, he was injured, so they lost their running game the last 3 weeks. But Josh Jacobs came back this game. He wasn't as efficient as he should have been. But, I don't know exactly what's going on over there. But, man, they were playing really good football. And Gruden, they fired the defensive coordinator. I think Sarkisian now is stepped in as the defensive coordinator. Is not who is it?
Interim
Marinelli.
coach. Yeah.
Marinelli, yeah,
Rob
yeah.
Marinelli, sorry. Marinelli stepped in, who's more than capable of being a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know where they stand. I think the outside looking in at this point.
Right now
when,
they do.
When
Yeah.
they were kind of in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And, I understand Josh Jacobs was hurt, but, man, they look bad. They look real bad.
I think Gruden tells you who he thinks is to blame.
Yeah.
The defense. I mean, whenever you have a performance like that, and the head coach fires your defensive coordinator the next game, there's your tell right there. That lets you know who he thinks is to blame for where they're at. It's the defensive side of the football, the defensive coordinator, and so he made an adjustment. And I heard that from what I heard, Gunther, who was their defensive coordinator, and Gruden kind of had it out after the game, like verbally going at each other, and that's as a result, you get Gunther being fired. So, yeah.
Gruden's running it. Next, we'll go to Washington.
Yeah, when you make $10 million a year, you can make decisions.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Washington versus 49ers. Not too much to say about this game. 23-15, but Chase Young scoop and score. Where has he been all season? The NFC East. Woo, you're getting hot.
Chase Young is what people thought Jadeveon Clowney was going to be. Like, flat out. Everybody thought Clowney, because of that hit that he laid on Michigan, everybody thought because of one play
that got him drafted first.
They got him drafted first. Like, people thought Jadeveon Clowney was going to be just like Chase Young. Yeah. Chase Young is coming into his own, and man, he could have that Washington defense set up for years right now. He looks phenomenal. Like, he single-handedly took over that game. I couldn't believe it. He did a sack and then a tackle for loss, and then he grabbed a fumble and ran it in for a touchdown. I was like, wow. I think their defense scored 12 points and their offense scored 7.
So we always do an offensive line. I want to give you a defensive line on Chase Young. 2 pass deflected, 1 sack, 6 combo tackles, 2 solo, 4 assisted, 1 tackle for loss.
And a touchdown.
I mean,
Incredible.
That's a hell of a defensive game.
He's going to be, I mean, Rookie of the Year is probably going to go to Jefferson out of Minnesota or Herbert, one or the other. But, man, if Chase keeps this up, he's up there.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Number 2 draft pick, and he's showing exactly why. Good for him, man. He's going to make a ton of money. He keeps this up. People are going to want to come to the Washington football team to play football. If that guy's there, their defense, I mean, you don't need that good of a quarterback.
Right.
You know, if you have him and that defense playing like that, that's like the Bears or the Broncos when they won with past his prime Peyton. The Washington football team looks good. If that defense plays like that, watch out.
Well, and it makes you a better defensive back. It makes you a better linebacker. It makes everyone on the team on the defensive side of the football makes you better because you got a guy rushing the quarterback.
I was going to say, let's calm it down for a minute. We still need the offensive side of the ball. We got to score some points here.
Yeah, I know,
but keeping them off the field is one.
Ray
Scoring points
Lewis
is the
would
other.
Disagree with you.
All right, well, we're going to go to your team right now, and it doesn't sound like you're too happy with them. So the Cowboys took out the Bengals 30-7. Andy Dalton finished 16 of 23 for 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys stayed in contention in the week.
Lamar Jackson just scored, apparently. It's 7-7. Thank you, Thomas. We're kind of keeping up with it. Nick Chubb scored the first touchdown. Lamar Jackson just scored up the middle for 5 yards. So 7-7.
There we go. Now, what I have to ask you, Grant, is at this point for Cowboys fans in general, like, are you even wanting the Cowboys to win right now? You just want draft picks.
No, I don't want them to win. No.
If
they win, that'd be nice. Like, I'm okay. I mean, I can't speak, of course, for all Cowboys fans. I can speak for me. But that game, to me, I watched it. It was entertaining. I was glad to see him be competitive. But, I mean, I wasn't jumping off my chair excited that they won 30-7 against the Cincinnati Bengals. That doesn't really get me excited as a Cowboys fan. So
this game was all about Andy Dalton going back home.
Yeah, that's what it was about.
That's it. Yes. I mean, it flat out boiled down to they even showed his wife on camera.
They kept showing his wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was all about Andy Dalton going back to Cincinnati, where we knew he would probably perform well. And Dallas will probably go out next week and get killed, but they just wanted to show out for Andy going back home. And anybody wants to do that when they go back to the team that they were on. So
you know what it reminded me of? Did you see it when he was doing I'm guessing he's doing the I love you sign to his wife. You know what it reminded me of? You probably don't. Do you know who Doug Christie is? Lauren?
Oh, yeah, I love Doug Christie.
Remember Doug Christie?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Remember Doug Christie when he would play in a game and he would give his wife, like, a sign every time he'd do something good? You remember that? Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
Oh,
I was like, oh, my God. When Andy Dalton was doing I love my wife. I'm with you on that, Andy. But during the game, like, I don't know. I just was like, come on, dude. Like, they're doing the I love you signs back and forth to each other.
It's their
Come
sign.
on.
Don't hate on that.
I'm not hating on it. I'm just like, okay, let's.
Chase Styles, because we were talking about Chase a minute ago. He's like, oh, I'm right here. He's like, oh, wrong Chase.
Yeah.
So we get it. Thomas, obviously Quinlan's still watching. Appreciate you guys for staying and paying attention. Just going through the games a little bit, and then we'll let you get back to your regular scheduled program.
And we'll run down some of the games that we, if you want to keep going in depth, then we can. But if not, Cardinals. over the Giants
Ooh,
26
Johnny,
to
what
7.
happened, bro?
Johnny
Johnny J.
Kyler Murray came to play.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, talk about Jason Garrett like you were last week. Talk about Jason Garrett. Yeah, there you go. Okay. He was all talking about the goodness of Jason Garrett.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy, obviously head coach of the Cowboys. I read in an article today he will not be fired in the offseason.
No,
Right,
he won't.
right. He'll be with them next year.
So
I saw
there
that.
you go, Cowboys fans. You still have McCarthy the next year.
There's no reason for it.
Whatever.
All right, 31-10. Titans took it over the Jags in Jag territory, which that doesn't surprise
Derrick
any
Henry,
of us.
bro. Derrick effing Henry. I mean,
I'm telling you, that dude should be an MVP.
I mean,
He should be in the MVP discussion.
I think so, man. Like that guy, he's impossible to tackle.
Yes.
He's huge.
He's huge.
It's just he's sneaky fast. When he finds a hole and hits it, it's just unreal. Usually, the idea of football, the lower you go, you win, right? He's
Like
too tall.
like a Carlos Hyde.
He's too tall to go that low against people, but he just bulldozes over these people
Right.
at every game, and you're like, I mean, people don't even want to hit him because they don't want to be on a highlight reel. It's
Yeah.
like avoiding a dunk by Dominique Wilkins. You're just
Yeah.
like, get out the way.
Yeah.
Like he's
I don't want to
unbelievable
be
what
on a
he's doing.
poster.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what Derrick Henry's doing. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs as well.
Do you know what posters are?
Like the things hanging on the walls.
Okay, because they don't do posters anymore. Like me, I'm sure Jeff did too. I had posters all over my
I had
wall.
the Sports
Oh, I
Illustrated
mean, I'll
poster.
tell
I
you.
had posters,
of
all
I bet
kinds
there's
of
somebody
posters.
out there
Of course you did.
I guarantee you there's somebody out there with a Lauren Leal poster. And as a matter of fact,
Oh yes,
I'm going to look and see if we can get one.
yes. Is there a Lauren
Still
Leal
have
poster out
some.
there?
Is there
I
Texans?
still have some.
You do?
But-
You do?
Bring some to the show.
Yes, please.
Look, we can.
Yes.
We're gonna sign them. We're
Yes.
gonna have Lauren sign
How
the posters.
great is it I brought
We're gonna-
this
and
up?
Yes, we're gonna have Lauren sign the posters. We're gonna give them away on the show. That way
Yes.
she can't.
How many
say
do you
no.
have? How many do you?
He's
How many do you have?
joking.
How many do you have?
A bit.
Okay, see,
They got it last
we can do
me.
that. We can last you for what?
My
We can.
life?
We can order more, right?
No.
Yes, we
Once
can.
that's it, that's it.
No, we can order them.
Okay.
We're gonna find
They're
out.
authentic.
We're gonna have a Lauren Leal poster signing.
Yes.
On Sports with Balls.
Yes, we're gonna have
That's
a
it.
raffle.
Good night.
We're gonna have a raffle.
Speaking of posters, no, I grew up with like Jordan and the dunk. Like,
Yeah, of
in my
course.
Okay,
brother's
all right.
room
Oh, the
and-
wings poster. I had that in my room.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
I did
awesome.
too. Yes, I had
That
all
too.
that.
That one
All
was
right,
dope.
we're going to the game which I called 32-27. Not a huge win, but the Broncos took it over the Panthers. How you like them apples?
I mean, great call. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say about that game.
Yeah.
None of those teams are
Your
going anywhere.
one prediction this year, you got
We
it
have to
right.
clap.
I got it
Congratulations,
right, guys. I got it right.
Let's give it make your clap noises, make your hype noises, do all your noises because Lauren. Yeah, there you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
I was just
whoa.
saying, out of all the games that sometimes y'all don't always guess
Get
correctly,
to the Jaguars
y'all were
game
going
where
to
your
the
boy
Pats.
Minshew is back.
I already went over that.
Oh, did you even
We
say
talked
that?
about
You didn't say
Derrick
anything about
Henry
Minshew?
versus Jaguars.
I know. Oh, sorry. You didn't say anything about Minshew?
No.
Well, he's back playing. He's
I
starting.
know that.
Oh shit! All right, my bad. Thought you would have mentioned that, but I guess not.
Okay, Gardner Minshew's back. Woo.
Garrett, I wonder if Garrett
Maybe-
did he
maybe
shave
a-
his mustache?
Maybe a poster.
Yeah,
Maybe a
poster.
Garrett. Maybe that's what we should get
Yeah,
you.
we need a Gardner
Goodness,
Minshew.
guys.
We need a
Yes.
Gardner Minshew poster.
Yes, please.
Oh,
Hey, absolutely.
Goodness. All
Frame
right.
it, frame it, and everything. Make sure it doesn't get messed
I'm
up.
writing a letter. We're gonna get one.
Now, if I'm correct,
sign it.
one of you guys said that the Jets actually had their chance at getting their first win of the season this weekend over the Seahawks, in which it was
I didn't say
40
that.
to 3.
I don't think I said it.
No.
either.
One of
Not
you
versus
guys
Seahawks.
said that.
No,
You're like, oh, the Jets
I mean, we may have
actually
talked
might
about
get
taking
their
the
first.
we may have talked about taking the points because I mean it's like 16 and a half. But
You said Jets might win a game this season, and that might be it.
no, I would have never said that against.
no, I don't think I said that.
No, ma'am.
One of you guys said that. We'll
No.
go back and listen to last game.
Don't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, man.
All right, and the Falcons and the Chargers. So the Chargers took it 20-17, and then 31-24 Packers over the Lions.
Packers-Lions game, like I said, was close because they always play each other close. Two things coming out of that game was that Stafford got hurt at the end of that game. It looks like a hip injury, which could be, they've already said he might not play this coming up week. And the Packers, like we said earlier, with the win and New Orleans losing, take over the division lead, which is huge.
Yeah.
And after Mahomes throwing those 2 interceptions, Aaron Rodgers now, in my opinion, leapfrogs into first across the board as MVP.
His coach says that. His coach said that Matt LaFleur after the game said, if he's not your number one candidate, I don't know who else
Yeah,
deserves
I mean,
yeah.
all right, there we go. Is that all the games?
That's all the games we
Boom.
got. And, of course, the one playing right now.
7-7.
7-7.
It's all right. I know we'll have our next show on Thursday, and we're going to go over this coming up week's games on Thursday. So y'all pay attention to that. Follow us on all of our social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Pandora, iHeart, iTunes, Amazon, Echo.
Podbean.
Podbean, SoundCloud,
I
always add that
Spotify, wherever.
Good job. You got it. You got it. Keep going.
Get them all. Get them all. We're in there. But, man, it looks like we only got 10 minutes left. That means it's about time for Grant.
I'll do it quick. First, I want to thank somebody.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Texas AV Productions, Tosin. Texas AV Productions is your event partner for all things live production, setup, designing, installation, corporate events, concerts, and touring support. Mention Sports with Balls and you will receive a free consultation plus 10% off of your total bill. Call them at 281-241-7520 and check them out online at txavpro.com.
Oh, I like that. There
Me
we
too.
go.
That was
Damn.
nice.
Get them.
So December
like it.
14th is today, if you didn't know that. Now you do. December 14th, 2020. We're almost done with this year, thank God. December 14th, 1953. Did you know the Brooklyn Dodgers signed pitcher Sandy Koufax?
Sandy.
Sandy Koufax.
You think
That's
that
just weird
works
to
out?
hear.
You think that worked out for him?
Yeah, I think so.
December 14th.
Mookie Betts also worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
December. Yes, they did. Yep. Better
the
than Garrett
Dodgers.
Cole. December 14th, 1947. For all you people down south, the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, or better known as NASCAR, was founded in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Is that what NASCAR
year was this?
Hold on.
1947.
I know that we're sitting on here on a sports show. Is that what NASCAR stands for?
National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing.
I did not know that.
Now you know.
That's awesome.
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
See, that's why.
And I love
That's why
NASCAR.
this segment is
Yeah.
called "Did You Know That?"
I'm gonna throw a little Jeffism in there. I actually have Jeff Gordon's TV, his old TV, in my garage.
Did you say Jeffism?
Yeah, it's a little Jeffism.
What is that? You have your own culture?
Drop the mic.
Yeah. Jeffism. So we started a segment. Jeffism.
All right.
So that's why
all
this
right.
segment's called "Did You Know That?" Because
I do. I have Jeff Gordon's TV in my garage.
A couple Heisman trophies this today in the past. Did you know that in 1998, the 64th Heisman Trophy Award went to Ricky Williams, Texas running back. Hook 'em.
Ricky.
December 14th, and of course last year, 85th went to Joe Burrow, LSU.
What up, Chris Luna, my cousin? Watching.
So I brought this up because we were talking about this. December 14th, 1992. Did you know Lennox Lewis was given the WBC title when Riddick Bowe refused to fight him?
Yep, I remember that.
So the story was, during the press conference, Riddick Bowe did not agree with the fact that he had to fight a sanctioned fight like this, and he basically had the WBC title belt in his hand and he threw it in the trash and said, "I'm not fighting."
Mm-hmm.
We heard Riddick Bowe's a little
Yeah,
whacked in the head, so
Yeah.
that's what Lou Severie said.
you just dropping a hint on what's coming. I like that.
Oh, December 4th. That's why I did it. December 14th, 1941. Did you know the first NFL division playoff, the Bears beat the Packers 33-14? That happened today.
Ooh.
And then, of course, I had to say a local birthday,
There
a
you go,
couple local
Thomas.
birthdays. 1965. Today is Craig Biggio's birthday.
Yes,
happy
I told you to bring it
birthday,
up.
Joe.
1965, Craig Biggio. And then 1979, Jeff, if you want to feel like you and I haven't accomplished anything, younger than us, born today, Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Think Kyle Shanahan's done some things in his career?
Yeah, a little bit.
He's
A
younger than
little
me and
bit.
you, Jeff. There you go.
I know.
I know. I look at these guys like 24, 25. they're in
When
their
was he
prime.
born?
1979.
Damn, man. Just starting a little podcast. Calm down, Kyle.
Yeah,
Jesus.
absolutely. And then Anthony Mason's birthday today. You remember Anthony Mason?
Ah, he was a beast.
That dude. Yeah.
I think he passed away.
2015.
Yeah, rest in
Are we
peace,
ready
Anthony
to-
Mason.
Are we ready to drop the mic?
Oh, you want some Jeff stuff?
Yeah, you had a good list, so I'm anxious.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have a good list. We already talked about North Carolina, Miami. One of the things that happened this weekend, I was excited. Memphis beat Houston. Now I know Raj is massive University of Houston, and you are too. But I'm a Memphis State fan, which is now.
I thought about you when
University of
that game was on.
Yeah, Memphis. So Houston made a comeback, but they fell short. So way to go, Memphis.
I know, 21 points in the fourth quarter. Like, come on.
Yeah. My father played for them, and obviously I was recruited by them out of high school, so I love Memphis, and I used to go to the Memphis Ole Miss games. Man, they were awesome. True story. I think I was like 6, 7 years old, and we're in the restroom at Memphis Stadium, and they were playing Ole Miss, who was their big rival, and I forgot the punt returner, but he muffed the punt. All you got to do was catch it, game was over. We're in the bathroom, and this guy is pissing next to my dad, and he looked at us and said, hey, how about that? I forgot the guy's name. He was like, how about that so-and-so dropped the punt? My dad just turns and starts peeing on him. Like, literally just turns and just starts. And I'm like 6, my brother's like 8, and we're like, oh, and then a brawl ensues, and my dad just beat the shit out of this guy.
Holy
and he's
shit.
like, come on, kids, let's go. This is in 1980, 84,
Oh
85.
my God.
It's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life.
Actually,
It was great. It was great.
that's got
That's
some points.
fantastic.
That's why my brother loves to fight. I don't fight. But speaking of fighting, we got something coming up special for you guys coming up.
Hey, one thing you said on your notes that you gave us on your drop the mic, you said the last thing you said was still single. Why'd you put that?
Lauren brought this up a minute ago. I was on a date the other night with one, and then one of her friends, this guy, what's his name, Mike? Josh, sorry. Mike,
Yeah.
Josh, Jeff. Well, I mean, he sat down with us, and it was on a date
He
with
said
that
he was friends with you.
I barely know the guy. And he
I've
said
known
he
him
was
for
friends.
ages, but yes.
He came up and said he was
He's one of
friends
my
with
good
you.
friends,
He goes, oh,
yes.
you're the guy that does sports with balls. Oh, I'm one of Lauren Leal's good friends. I was like, oh, okay. So for 45 minutes after that, I'm talking to him while I'm on my date with this police officer. It was pretty interesting.
She couldn't have just
that's
arrested him or
right.
something?
Yeah.
You did go on a date with a police officer. Would you do that again?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
guess
you've
so.
done that before, so what do you mean would you do that again?
Yeah, I mean,
It was a good walk away. It was a good
A
time.
good walk away.
But,
Good time.
I haven't gotten any new Hinge or Bumble notifications lately that are too interesting. Now, I will tell you this: a girl Amber that's on my Facebook who's awesome. She was like, after we finished the show on Friday, because it was all about what does Lauren want for Christmas, and this, and everybody says
A lot
what's
of
up
people
to
cared
Grant.
about that. Yeah,
Lauren,
yeah.
Lauren. She was like, I love hearing your voice on the radio. It's so sexy. I was like.
Nice.
Now,
There you
see,
go.
I got my damn compliment. So
There you
thank you,
go.
Amber.
That's
I
what that
appreciate
haha
Yeah.
Lauren and Grant is in the know.
Yes,
You
yes.
were like haha Lauren. I was like going down. I'm like, what is
Yep.
this?
I finally got my compliment,
Hey,
but
did anybody make any gingerbread houses this weekend?
no, I damn those things.
You didn't make any?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
I didn't make any.
couple of
Did anybody
questions.
else make any?
Couple of
I
questions for some.
Oh, you
listeners.
did. Lauren did. Okay.
Grant, this is for you. Chase Styles asked, "Will Texas A&M get in if Notre Dame takes down
Clemson again.
if Notre Dame takes down Clemson again?"
I don't think they should. And to be honest with you, I don't think it'll matter just because I think Alabama's going to win it very handily. So I don't think it'll matter. That's probably biased on my part because I don't want A&M to make it. I wish
UT,
nothing but
yeah.
failure on A&M. But no, I think I think Clemson is. I think Notre Dame. Well, I don't know. Notre Dame and A&M would probably hand in hand, but I don't think it matters because no matter who gets in there is going to beat Alabama, so it doesn't matter.
Alabama looks great, man.
Yeah,
they really do.
Alabama's fantastic.
Lauren, for you, Thomas asked, "What do you think about the Texans' ownership sleeping during the game?" Did you see the photo?
Ooh, I didn't see the photo. No.
Cal McNair's passed out.
That doesn't surprise me. I've said this. I literally said this on Sunday morning radio. Please sell the organization to somebody who cares and actually wants a championship and wants to contend for a championship title. Like, give it to anyone. I'm so over this.
I agree.
I'm so over Cal
There's no
McNair
way.
and the way.
There's no way. I mean,
There's no way
NFL
he's
is a
gonna do
cash
it.
cow. There is no way. Cash flow, owners, people that own anything, cash flow. That is a tremendous cash flow.
I know, and I'm just like, I just wish you would give it to somebody who actually cares, not snoozing.
Before we get out of here, we're running up against the NFL playoffs, and I know we made our predictions early in the season. But Grant, who do you have winning the Super Bowl right now?
Right now,
Yep.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Lauren?
I do too. Like we said earlier, they can come from behind. They can surprise you. Like they can sneak up on you no matter what.
Man.
I mean, you asked that question like you had something
I'm gonna wait
to
on the
say.
weather.
No, you
Of
were
course you
about
will.
to make
No, of
a
course you will.
strong,
Yeah.
valid point. You were gonna
No,
say
you were going to say something.
you were gonna
All right.
say the Bills for a reason. You were
No.
gonna say Pittsburgh has a
No,
shot
you
for
guys
a reason.
pay
You were
attention
gonna
on
say
Thursday. I'll relieve my picks for that. But listen, we want to thank Joe Applewhite, Joe Applewhite Realty, 713-291-5270.
Depends on the weather. I knew you would do
Call
that.
Joe
Yeah.
Applewhite.
Depends on the
Realty.
weather.
And Roy Stanton and Hybrid Technologies Group. Call him for your cable services, anything like that. Mention Sports with Balls. Get a percentage off of your purchase. Jeff, I'm holding you to that. I want to know.
Construction Concepts. Thanks, Mark and Josh. Thank you guys. Tosin, Texas AV Productions. I think we went by today. We went by some restaurant that Construction Concepts.
Yeah,
has
Torchies.
done.
They
I
do
mean,
all the Torchies tacos.
Those cats, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
do?
thank you for watching Sports with Balls. Look, follow us on all of our social media. Just mention Sports with Balls anywhere on any social media platform. I railed them off all earlier, so follow us on that and stay tuned. On Thursday, we'll be back at 6:30 Thursday evening. Follow us on Facebook for any updates. For Jeff Michael, Lauren
Put my
Leal,
TV tray up.
Grant Miles, put your TV tray up. This is Sports with Balls, y'all. We out.
Peace.
Jump in my 6'4" and let the top dine. Trunk hitting hard when I swing through H-time. Cup full of oil and an orange kush sweet. Cause this is how we do it in that 713. My candy red paint cocked up on foe. Shocking and body rocking cause the south side ho. DJ Screw got me falling asleep. This is how we do it in that 713.